this flooding moves in, there is particular concern for people living in those low-lying areas.
Definitely, I think the most worrying factor is that there are many people who are completely cut off, and it will take a few days before anybody can reach them, because these areas in Bangladesh and India are in the Sunderbans Delta, and there's always a lot of water there, and there's not enough even good road connectivity. So even in the best of times, it's not very easy to move around. And now, of course, with COVID-19 also having a big say in how we can operate on the ground, how we can go about doing our assessment work, it is very challenging to find out the exact situation and to reach the most cut off people. That is the most tedious task, and that's what the government and National Disaster Response Force, as well as NGOs and big organizations are trying to do in terms of getting on the field and trying to reach people who are the most cut off and who need the help the most. So that's the topmost priority.
And do you have any idea how many people have been affected by this cyclone?
There were numbers going around that even up to 20 million children could be affected. But I think the exact numbers will be soon known better after a few days. In fact, even the Prime Minister Modi, whom you referred to today on his visit, has informed that a national team would be deployed to go and do a thorough assessment. So the announcement that he has made right now of certain monies to be given to both the states of West Bengal and Odisha is like an advance. And the exact nature of the calamity will be known, and that's when one can really decide exactly what all needs to be done and what role will NGOs play to support the government to ensure that the response is adequate and swift, and that people's lives can be rehabilitated, because there's a huge loss to livelihoods because of the agricultural crops being damaged and livestock also being affected, as well as people's homes and other establishments being damaged or destroyed.
And of course, you mentioned that this comes, of course, as India battles the coronavirus outbreak. How will that affect the rescue effort and indeed your operations?
So it is terribly difficult to get on the ground, because Save the Children, we also work with many children's groups to train them to be part of the response, to be able to safeguard themselves and also to help other people. But because of social distancing norms, it is hard to get our partners and these children's groups together very quickly. And we have to follow protocols like social distancing to ensure that whoever goes on the field is also not being a threat to anybody else in terms of spreading the coronavirus. So I'm sure the same challenges lie with the government. But yet there's no doubt that we have to make an extra effort and think anew, because though in this region we've had many cyclones and we've been prepared to tackle them over the last decade or so, but with the coronavirus situation, it requires brand new thinking and innovative approaches, which of course the government and larger organizations will strategize and try to implement swiftly.
Thank you, Devendra Tak.